That comic podcast.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to That Comic Podcast. I'm your host, Menti, and with me as always are my wonderful sidekicks. First, Mr. Moshko.
Can I kick it?
Ooh.
Yes, you can.
It's very salesman-y. Hey, can I kick it? And then there's P Features.
Hello, internets.
With the super dramatic lighting. And then bouncing back and forth, there's Baby Huey.
What's going on?
What's going on?
What's going on?
There it is. I don't know. He's still getting his camera ready. I love how this whole camera thing is. For anybody who just listens to the show, if you're not aware, there's a YouTube channel now. And now that we do video, we're going to acknowledge these little things that show up, like the fact that I can't see anybody right now. You know what? The show's going to go on. I'm going to guess that you all can see me. So, all right. Well, anyway. This is going to be a weird show, as you saw. No Lance, no Buzz. This is the original crew. Baby Huey, I'm sure, is going to speak up more than usual, although he doesn't need to, so feel free to not if you don't want to there, champ.
What? No, come back.
But we do got a lot of things to talk about. We got some Spaceballs stuff, which I think is going to take over way more of the show than I expected it would, knowing how this pre-show has been going.
It's already taken our pre-show over. So
we've got some Star Wars news, we've got some Transformers news, and then we've got a whole bunch of leaks with some actual comic news too, which is kind of cool. But let's just get right into the craziest part of all, which was this surprise drop of Spaceballs 2, which I don't know about you guys, I had no clue. I don't remember talking about this. Like I feel like this would have been on our radar, and I feel sidelined by that.
We mentioned it very briefly when Josh Gad was first announced to be writing it. And it also, at some point, said Mel Brooks was somewhat attached to it, but there wasn't any legitimate information other than they're starting the process. But now,
out of sight, out of mind, man. I had
ball game.
I feel like that slipped way under the radar. I feel like that should be bigger.
I thought it was an April 1st post that I missed. I thought it was a joke. I was like, there's no way. Then I hit play and I'm like, oh my God, he's talking about it. It's a thing. No, Mel Brooks in that opening video talking about how we listen to the fans and we're going to make Spaceballs 2 was the coolest way to bring that in. And I love the story of not Josh Gad. I think it was the other screenwriter who was pitching the idea to Mel Brooks. Mel Brooks was talking about how he knew nothing about current Star Wars. So he was like, you need to take me through all the comedic moments of everything Star Wars has done since the original 3.
There's a bunch.
So apparently the guy was sweating trying to find all of these moments to bring up to talk about. So the new Star Wars Disney is going to play a big role apparently in Spaceballs 2 if that has any bearing on the plot. Yeah, as it absolutely should. But all we got was scrolling text, and I didn't need anything else.
Yeah, no, that was perfect. That was perfect.
It set the tone.
Up. Yeah.
I saw the kind of jokes. They were perfect. The DCEU, the DCU, attempt 1, attempt 2. The whole scrolling text was hysterical, and it although a lot of the announcement of the cast has been cool, that has me more excited than anything else because I feel like Mel hit the tone, and regardless on whether or not he knows current Star Wars. Like I feel like he nailed it just because, the right people are around him. He, for some reason, is coming out of retirement for this, as well as Rick Moranis is coming out of retirement for this. Like, wild. I mean, if you can't tell, I'm excited. I'm caffeinated. I'm excited.
If anything's going to get Rick to come out of retirement, this is it.
Well, it's like, honestly, who could you, if you had to recast Spaceballs, who could you do that with?
I wouldn't.
Exactly. Like I don't think it's just a cult classic. I think it itself is just a classic film. And those, like everybody that was in the first one did such a remarkable job. You can't really find anybody to do those roles.
Well, I think it's actually an interesting
elephant in the room. Then
what's that?
Elephant in the room. John Candy.
Well, they already. They have Barf Jr. That's who Josh Gad's playing.
Is he okay?
Yeah, it's Barf Jr. And Joan Rivers was replaced by Keke Palmer, who's playing Destiny, who's another robot. So and then we also have Bill Pullman joining his dad. As Starburst, which is the best name. Lone Star and Starburst. It's so perfect. He's playing their kid. So that's exciting. What was the tag? A non-prequel, non-reboot sequel part 2 with Reboot Elements franchise expansion. That's how the movie's being described.
That is perfect.
It's exactly what we need.
Yeah, this is so promising. I mentioned it earlier today. I asked if you guys actually saw the Naked Gun trailer that was just released, and same time, I almost want to say the same year they may have come out. The type of humor, obviously, it's right up our alley. We love this type of humor. How it's going to play for the rest of the generations that may see this.
That's a good point.
How are they going to include everybody in this and include jokes and the things that we
Keke Palmer.
Yeah. Keke Palmer actually is a good substitute for Joan Rivers.
I agree.
Oh, she's great. She's a great comedic actor.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think of the latest thing that she was in, but
Well, while you do that, let me float a question.
I said I was thinking. I didn't say I was looking it up.
Is this a classic for the next generations? Like, it's a classic for us, but it's not like it's been devouring the airwaves forever. I mean, it feels like it's kind of actually gained some dust over the last 5 to 10 years. Not that it's a bad thing, but it's like kind of seen its heyday, and it was funny, and it's kind of an adult thing. Like almost Naked Gun's the same way. It wasn't like anyone was clamoring for a new Naked Gun, but the audience and the people with money is us. So they were like, well,
yeah. I mean, it just case in point, in the Naked Gun trailer, since it's so fresh on my mind and it's something that we can actually see, Liam Neeson says to Pamela Anderson, she's in this. I don't know if you knew that.
Wow.
He says to her, all right, take a chair. So she grabs the chair and walks out of the office.
It's perfect.
That's hilarious.
It's perfect.
Is the rest of the, or the 20-year-old, I would say like the 15-year-olds are going to love it. But, are the 20 and 30-year-olds going to love it?
Maybe.
I don't know.
You never know, man. Things turn out to be great that have no reason to be great. 21 Jump Street.
Oh, fantastic.
You know what I mean? Go ahead.
Look at it this way: like we were all much younger when these films came out, and it was just
we all have gray.
You guys were barely born. What are you talking about?
Spaceballs.
We were trying to make you feel good, buddy.
Spaceballs was 82 and Naked Gun was 87.
Oh, wow.
Spaceballs wasn't 82. Knock it off. That was 88.
Did you see the flash on Baby Huey's face? He's so looking it up.
Reverse that. Naked Gun was 82. Spaceballs was 87.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I got it reversed.
I mean, but like the sheer ridiculousness of those films are really what keeps it. And I think even then, you didn't have to really understand a story at a younger age. You just had to go like, that's funny. And I think that's what's going to happen to the younger generation, like as opposed to us. We're going into it for nostalgia reasons, and
that kind of vaudeville humor isn't something that you get much nowadays.
Yeah.
That kind of slapstick, tongue-in-cheek kind of humor. Humor right now, the barometer for humor is more clever over stupid. Like the Beavis and Buttheads. Yeah, right. We could take a couple stupids. Let's go ahead. Give me a scary movie. It's all right.
Prime example. Like the last time we got a movie similar to that was like Scary Movie or those other spoof films. So I believe it's going to work, and it'll probably work really well, as opposed because right now people are all clamoring for like the superhero films, or some people are even getting back into the high drama films, but like comedy kind of has been not by the wayside, but just kind of floating on an undercurrent. So I think like films like this will bring it like.
Well, it's not comedy's fault. I mean, this is a completely different topic, but to be completely honest, the only reason comedies don't do as well is that who wants to risk a bad comedy at $75 for 2 people to go to the movies? You know what I mean? Like when franchise movies do so well in theaters, and the reason they pull people in is it's not much of a gamble. When you spend your money, you're going to get a popcorn bucket. You know what I mean? Like you're in it for the entire for the thrill of the entire experience. Where we used to just go to the movies because we were bored and it was Tuesday and we had nothing better to do, and we were like, all right, well, do you want to see that new so and so movie? It could suck, but I don't know, whatever. It's $30 for 2 people. It's not the end of the world for tickets and popcorn, but now it's an investment.
Yeah.
So people aren't willing to take gambles on comedies, and that's why they do better on streaming services. So, something like a Spaceballs 2 going to Amazon Prime makes way more sense. Oh no, it's in theaters. Isn't this one in theaters? So this one is in theaters, and I think that's because it's franchise based, because it knows it has a built-in audience, opposed to how most comedies are treated nowadays.
No, I get that completely. Yeah.
So this will do well. Don't get me wrong. This movie's going to make money. This is going to do. Actually, you know what? Didn't Mission Impossible not do so well? Isn't that looking like it's going to lose $300 million or something like that?
The only thing that's making money right now are family movies like Lilo and Stitch and the latest one that just came out,
which I didn't hate. A lot of people hated that movie. I liked the original, and I didn't mind the remake as much as everybody seemed to have hated it.
It's like almost shot for shot. A lot of times.
It was pretty good. And the ending didn't bother me as much as everybody else, but okay. All right. But no, it's not even just family movies. It's franchised movies. Lilo and Stitch is not just some family movie. No, it's not like it's the first time Cheaper by the Dozen's coming out. Like it's known IP, and I think that's the most important aspect to success in the movie theaters nowadays. It feels like will people give it a chance at the price points we're forced to, or is it better to just stay at home and scroll Netflix?
And I think known IP is perfect. What you just said, like if you look, every movie is a remake. It's a sequel. Like we got no Jurassic Park coming out. It's a reboot of the movie. We got Superman coming out. It's the Marvel movies. It's the theaters or the movie theater or studios are afraid to take a chance on something.
It's not even that they're afraid. We have proven that they should.
Yeah.
It's not their fault as much as it is our fault, but it's not even our fault as much as it is the economy. So
it's all of our fault.
It's a bad situation. It's what it is. The idea was, okay, let's up the class. Let's go ahead and get cooler seats in there, and let's have
4D.
4D, but all these things cost more. And they also cost more to upkeep, and those chairs they can get less people in the door, so they got to charge more for tickets. Like, there's more to it. They break even on most movies, and they make most of their money on sales for, this tchotchke stuff and popcorn. Like, that's where their money comes from. So when you've got Avengers Doomsday, and you've got the new Mark Wahlberg and Will Ferrell movie, it could be funny, but it's not worth the gamble when you've got Doomsday. So I unfortunately, the theater has become more of a theme park. Like, we talked about this a long time ago, and how Scorsese said that that's what they were more. They were more like attractions than they were movie. They were more than they were cinema. And we gave him a lot of shit for that, and rightfully he deserved. But throw on top market speculation on any movie, it kind of turns it into that dystopian future he talked about. I don't think it's the Marvel movies are at fault.
No.
I think it's the movie-going audience not having the money to take gambles and risks on crappy movies. Like, there used to be some fun to go get some dinner, even go see a bad movie. Remember when you used to go watch bad movies just to make fun of them?
Yeah, you catch the man.
Yeah, we don't do that
$5.
Doesn't happen anymore.
Button, you hear da-dum, and then you watch them.
So yeah, I mean, it's an interesting place to be in, but that's why a movie like Spaceballs 2 will succeed, where if Mel Brooks trying to do a new movie, it might flop. It's got his name, but it's not something that people will gamble on as much.
Yeah, what's interesting, I just pulled up like the box office results from 1987. And it's really interesting to see, like, the number one movie that year was Crocodile Dundee. At 100, well, it probably did well in Australia. $74 million.
If it didn't, man, they don't have a target audience.
Well, like, there's so many other. It's crazy the movies that came out that year. You got Platoon, Beverly Hills Cop 2, Predator came out that year, Dragnet.
Wow.
And all these movies, I mean, they didn't really like top like 60 million. The point was the Spaceballs made 38 million as its entire gross. So, not a lot, but
it's got to do well. This movie, for a comedy,
it made
they'll make it's the highest grossing comedy of 2025, which is not that big of a
Spaceballs
deal.
made all its bones, once it hit video, and that thing was.
To be fair, you are going to still have like Star Wars fans that are going to see Spaceballs too. Spaceballs too.
It'd be interesting to see if actually they go and trash it. I would not doubt that
They should definitely just within like 15 minutes of the movie replace Starburst with a strong female lead. And then actually have the text "strong female lead" show up on the top, just see what happens.
I would cry
Just lighting a
laughing.
stick of dynamite and going fishing. You know what I mean? Just see what happens. No, that's all tongue in cheek because again, I am on team. Ray is not a well-written character, but that's here nor there. But yeah, I'm super excited for this. Just like I'm super excited for the Naked Gun trailer that also drops, and this seems like Hollywood is really whispering to us.
Yeah.
It's
I mean,
like whispering to old guys. Hey, remember those things that you loved? Don't you worry.
I mean, they've been doing it for a while. It's just now they're finally hitting the stuff that matters.
right.
Yeah.
No, yeah. It's all this nostalgia bait that they've been doing. Now let's click into some things that you haven't done before. Which
I'm blown away that I'm reading Dick Tracy and Biker Mice from Mars and Transformers, and I'm reading more than I've used to ever. Like, I used to try and read mostly superhero and like out there indie books. Now it's the amount of nostalgia reading I'm doing. Like the Street Sharks, we talked about, they're getting a new series.
Mhm.
We talked about that, like how that hasn't happened. I'm stoked for that. That's going to be phenomenal.
Thank Buzz.
Yeah,
Right.
thanks, Buzz. Everyone, thank Buzz. All right, let's switch gears here and let's go ahead and talk about The Hollywood Reporter, and let's talk about Kathleen Kennedy stepping down. Rumor has it, like we've been told a million times over, at least from Lucasfilm.
I feel like I've heard this before.
A million
When
times
are
over.
we doing
This is a little different. This is a Hollywood Reporter
Are
article.
we doing this now?
What? Yeah, why not?
Or
Doing what now?
when? Now?
What are you talking about? Oh, you're Spaceballs
When is
too.
now?
I got it.
Soon. Sorry, that's the stupidest
Because
combination I ever heard in my life.
is dumb. Anyway, so Kathleen Kennedy stepping down from Lucasfilms will be a huge deal, and we've all been kind of waiting for this day to happen. And I want to also make sure that we start this with Kathleen Kennedy deserves more respect than she's been given, because Kathleen Kennedy is the reason we have a lot of our favorite childhood movies. A lot of our childhood was developed
Yeah.
by her and deserves
Yeah.
a little bit more respect than she's been given. Now, that being said, she's also taken
Jurassic
Star Wars
Park.
into horrible places. So
Yeah.
I am happy to see her step down, and I am also glad that she's still going to be making movies and involved in other productions. But I do think that this is for the best at this point. The fans have spoken. Her plans have not really done well for the studio at all, and I think it's best at this point we move on. And while we've been talking about this potential for a while, the fact the Hollywood Reporter is doing an article on it kind of adds a little validity to the choices that apparently are being talked about, which I don't think is a surprise, but is Dave Filoni.
yes.
Dave Filoni apparently is the number one choice, doing something similar that James Gunn is doing, that he will be the creative head and that Carrie Beck will be taking over the day-to-day operations and setting things up, similar to, I forget who's the other head of DC?
Zaslav.
James Gunn and somebody.
Jim Lee?
No.
Oh, you talking about the
No, the what's it called? The DCU.
Zaslav.
But
Looking it up.
regardless, this is a good thing. Now, I know a lot of people are scared because Dave Filoni has a tendency to stick to lore pretty heavily. If you take a lot of the most recent
Peter
projects out.
Peter Safran.
Yes, that's it.
Saffron.
Safran.
Gail get it.
Gil got it.
Zaffin.
Saffron.
Safran.
Zephron. Like Zach.
Zach Zefron.
So what you're saying is Tony Gilroy has nothing to do with where the way the universe is going to be shaped. I'm out.
Well, I do think that with Dave Filoni at the helm, he will make sure that it's still moving in a direction that George Lucas would have done. And I do think that he has the best understanding of the overall lore as well as Legends. Because, again, he's the one who wanted to get Thrawn in there in the first place back with Rebels. So the merging of what we've loved and giving us what was George's intent. Seems like it's best in the hands of Dave Filoni, and I don't think that lore focus is a negative if handled by the best creatives in the field. Like, everyone keeps talking about how Dave Filoni is going to be too much, but I don't think that's true, because the people who are working on the movies are going to be the ones creating the stories and crafting the movie, where it's being guided by someone like Dave Filoni, like a MCU. I can't think of his name. Just take my nerd card.
Feige.
Thank you. Thank you.
Phage.
Good old Kevin Feige.
No, you know what? What confuses me a lot sometimes with fandoms are like in this terms, right? How can you complain about somebody being lore heavy? That's essentially what most people want out of the IP that we've already been interested. We know some of these stories already. We want to see it live, right?
Sadly, not true.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, because if you,
I want to believe what you're saying is true, but it sadly is not, because Andor proves that's not the case.
Well, okay.
It's the most popular of all their shows, and it is not lore heavy. It does its own thing. It doesn't not a lightsaber in sight. Right?
Some may say the best.
I know Moshko's eating that one up.
Well, that's my point. Lore is important because it holds all of the stories together, but it is not the end-all, be-all in what makes a story good. It is just the cohesiveness. It's the glue. It's what the strings you should be pulling on to tie and weave your story into the bigger tapestry. That only happens with lore. That's why Andor can exist the way it does. It still taps into the lore. It just doesn't rely on it. And the fear is that Filoni will rely on it, which will scare away new fans. Which I would argue the new fans are already gone. And you've also lost the old fans. So I would worry about getting the old fans back.
Yes.
Because they are going to keep you afloat, and they've proven that time and time again. So I would say Dave Filoni is the right man to do it, because he will get it back to a good, better foundation to then attract new fans a la Andor with.
I agree.
Is that okay, Moshko?
Yeah, I just don't ever want to see Luke Skywalker again.
Well, you won't.
What?
He quit.
I know.
Mark Hamill is out. Mark Hamill said he's done playing Luke and that they should pass it on, recast him.
Just give us something new.
No, it's all right.
He's also done playing the Joker, and he's come back. So
give me. No. We already know where Luke needs to go, and I want Luke, but we know what needs to happen. It's been everybody said yes, except for Disney, and now that Dave Filoni's doing it, I think that'll get a yes.
Ooh.
Sebastian Stan needs to be Luke.
yes,
It's been mentioned to him in interview after interview, and he's like, "No, that's his role. I don't want to take it from him. Like, that's his thing." And well, he gave you his blessing. I know, but he's still doing it. Well, now he's not doing it anymore.
Do you need to see
And he
more
gave
of
his
Luke,
blessing.
though? Like,
What's up?
Do you need to see
Yes.
another
Yes.
Luke story of him in his 30s?
I never got a Luke story.
We never got a Luke story. We've only got.
I want Grandmaster Luke.
Yeah.
I never got Grandmaster Luke.
Yeah, we got.
Okay.
I got
Jake
gypped out of that.
Skywalker.
Well, you're just went down your Legends road. Like, you just went down the road of finding out how great Luke becomes. And that is important to a lot of elderly Star Wars fans, right? Because that is the Luke story they've always known. So seeing that Luke portrayed is something that a lot of people have asked for and wanted for a long time. They were just scared to do it because of the backlash to Solo and the fear of using the original characters that Kathy had. But I think a Luke story would do very, very well. I think you could save Star Wars with a Luke story.
I agree 100%. Look what happened in The Mandalorian. He showed up one episode and everybody went crazy.
If they announced a Grandmaster Luke show, 4 or 5 episodes, that's it, that just show us at his peak fighting some final Sith whatever. Do the one that they actually have a book about it. They have the one where you find out about Rey's origin. Make that a show. The Shadow of the Sith, I think it's called. Mm-hmm. Where Luke actually gets to meet Anakin in their little ancestral force plane or whatever. Like, there's a lot of cool things that you can do that still show, that's in canon, that can still show this powerful Luke that we never got.
And they can bring Hayden back.
Yeah, and that man needs work. If he's got to rely solely on Monopoly ads, like, get him into some more things, please. Because those Monopoly ads I'm just so happy to see him around, but I would come on now. we could do better than Monopoly Go. All right, but Filoni taking over is a win, right? We'd agree.
Yes.
That's 100% a win.
Come on, Moshko.
Time will tell.
What would you have preferred?
Star Wars. The thing is, Star Wars doesn't really matter that much to me anymore. You know, if something cool comes out and I see, number one, I'll end up watching all of it anyway, but it's not something I'm overly excited and waiting for.
Did you like, were you one of the people who thought that like phase 4 after Endgame started to dip and that phase 5 wasn't that great? And
I was actually a little more interested in that because I was tired of, 37 characters getting together in a movie.
Okay. So you did like the original phases more? Okay. All right, good.
Yeah.
So when did you fall off of Star Wars?
Probably when the sequel started. I wasn't terribly interested after that. Give me something good. Like Andor was nice. Like that was a good way of, getting me interested again.
Well, you want adult. You want it to grow up.
Absolutely.
You just want it to grow up. And that's a fair, I think this could be an entire show.
Right.
Because there is an argument that Star Wars fans do not want the franchise to grow up. And I believe there is a really good argument there because a lot of hardcore, dedicated Star Wars fans are George Lucas purists. And he said that this is made for 12-year-olds.
Right.
Even though they will also admit that he was working on an adult show before he sold the franchise and that it's not that big of a deal. But anyway.
I think you could do both, though. I think there's a lane for every generation.
Well, and I think Deadpool Wolverine has proved that with the MCU is that they can go adult, they can keep things separate, that they can make a lot of money on all their fan bases, which is why I think you're getting a rated R horror movie from Star Wars down the line. And what I'm assuming is this new Filoni era.
I'm just thinking back to your comment just now about Daredevil. Whatchamacallit? Deadpool being adult.
Well, it is.
It is.
It's rated.
It's
like,
rated R, but that doesn't necessarily. It's very juvenile to me.
Sure, but the things that would
just because you have a lot of curse words, blood, and all that makes it adult.
Yes,
I don't think so.
Well, no, that's what gives it the rating system. Like literally
that doesn't make it.
Right,
it doesn't make the content
R.
So then with that argument, then Avatar: The Last Airbender is more adult. Like you're not wrong, but there are definitely standards that we use to catalog and categorize movies, films, and TV.
Right,
and that's what
which is dumb.
So sure,
get rid of them.
But we're arguing semantics, and you know what the hell we're talking about. Like, what are we doing here?
Because good is dumb.
Jeez.
It's the best line of that movie. It's by far the best line. All right, let's keep this moving. Actually, I'm gonna bring it down for a moment because this is actually a sad topic, and I'm not even going to talk about it. I'm going to let Baby Huey vent and mourn and struggle with our support. Baby Huey, I'm sorry for your loss.
Nobody freaking saw it in the theater.
We're here for you.
Basically,
I saw it. We saw it. We're here for you.
The masses didn't see it.
They saw Joker 2, stupid Moshko.
Yeah.
Hey, 10 years from now, come back to me.
No.
Yeah, 10 years from now, I'm going to still be pissed. There's no Transformers 2 because Transformers 1 didn't get an audience because everyone decided to hate watch Joker 2. Sorry, Baby Hugh. Keep going.
Thanks, Minty. All right, moving on.
No, it's all right. I'm trying to defend you from Moshko's cynicism.
Ass grill.
Ass grill?
Screw him.
Screw him. Ass grill. What the hell?
That's
torture, buddy. What are you doing?
All right. So Josh Cooley, the director, basically said he hasn't heard anything out of Paramount about any sequels. So it's basically
he's been told that they're not interested in working on a sequel.
Yeah, I mean,
flat out been told no. That might change, but right now it's a big old no.
That sucks.
Yeah. And the funny part is, like, on the action figure side, those toys are moving on the shelves. So
probably had a second life. I mean, how many? I would love to know the second lives on some of these properties that didn't survive in theaters because there is such a drastic difference between the streaming audience and the movie-going audience because movie-going audiences are diehard audiences now. Like, it's not just something you casually do anymore. It's like it's an event.
The streaming numbers did well either for Transformers 1.
I'm hearing like Snow White's doing really well, which is wild.
The recent one?
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
My camera doesn't.
Side note:
stop
did you know
moving.
that Disney has full control of Hulu now?
Really?
Yeah, they just paid like another $500 million to get the remaining part of it that Comcast still had. So
Well, that means all of it's going to be Disney Plus soon.
Yeah.
No more bundle. Now, hey, I'm for it. All right, I got to turn this off. My camera won't stop moving.
I'm curious as to why you wouldn't do a Transformers 1 sequel, because right now, like, that IP in general seems like, at least from our end of the spectrum, seems like it's as hot as it can be right now.
All right,
because
features.
Yes.
Features.
Paramount themselves have a hard on for the live action stuff. They do.
Well, more than that, features. If you and I, and mostly you, spent all of your money for the next 3 years on this project called Transmoppers. Transmoppers is a franchise that everyone loves, and we were like, we finally got our opportunity, and we spend all your money, and nobody watches it. Nobody. Everyone talks about how great it is that did watch it, but no one really watches it, and you lose a lot of money. Are you going to put your money up again to do it a second time?
I get that.
Or does Transmoppers die? This is the end of Transmoppers.
I feel like Transmoppers it can't die. Like, again, there's other forms of media.
Well, in other forms of media, look, I just read Transformers number 21. Other forms of media still rocking.
Yeah.
But that one didn't get anyone to go see it.
And so Transformers 1 had a budget of $75 million, and they grossed over $125. So, like, it made money, but now that's just the money it made. So when you factor in
how much did it take to make it?
It was 75, made
So it took
125.
Well, and it's another 75 in marketing, because they
Right.
usually
I'll say
double it
if
for-
you had to add in marketing and stuff like that, so it didn't really
Didn't
make
make money.
anything.
So
So the
massive
125
flop.
was that domestic or that was worldwide?
flop.
That was
buddy.
world,
Oh, wow.
worldwide, yeah.
It's a flop. It's okay. It happens. Scott Pilgrim.
Stop it, please.
It's true. It happens. It's what he said. The same thing. He was like, they were like, "How come there's no Scott Pilgrim movie?" And he's like, "Because you all pirated it." It's the president of Universal was like, "Well, don't pirate the movie. I'll make another one."
Good job, Menti.
It's a fair. Hey, back then that was a different Minty.
This is why
Different me.
Last
I
week's
watched
Minty.
enough of those DVD. You wouldn't steal a car ads. Got to me.
this is why everybody shouldn't be complaining about Superman and saying they're not going to see it, and because there's a chance. I know it's Superman. There is a chance that if this doesn't do well, you won't ever see Superman, in the next 10 years.
In our lifetime. Yeah.
So support the character that you love and check it out.
I agree. In theaters, by the way.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, so the next
Maybe not the
Transformer movie
popcorn bucket because they're $80 now. But
I still want that popcorn bucket.
I'm going to spend $80. It's unfortunate.
The next Transformer movie we might be getting will be another live action
G.I. Joe.
Transformers G.I. Joe.
Michael Bay.
No.
You know what?
No.
Bring them back.
No.
And that's
Make
The
a
last
movie.
two live action ones have been better because you can actually see what the hell's going on in battles. Not this close up shit. You can't make out heads or tails of what's going on.
Sure, but
baby
fired
Bruce
up.
get fired up. I know. I love it.
I'm tired of Michael Bay.
I love it.
but are we arguing that the live action was better than Transformers 1?
No.
No.
I mean, so how
But they're
do we
not
get
making
more-
Transformers 2 because you're stuck on something that's not happening.
Right.
He didn't
it's
say what it
dead,
is, but-
done with, over, so moving on.
Michael Bay has a project coming soon that he's very excited to talk about. I don't know if you saw that video of him.
Fast and the Transformers?
The last video I
mean-
saw of him was that presentation where the teleprompter got messed up and he just walked off stage. I'm sorry, I can't do this, and he just leaves. He was excited to talk about it.
He had no notes and just all right.
No, I'm sure whatever movie he makes is going to be great until they talk.
Well, what I'll say is I'm a average Transformers fan, so I do apologize for not seeing that movie because now it's my fault.
Partly your fault.
I mean,
Thanks, Moscow.
you were a part of the problem.
Give me a reason to blame any of the three of you, and I will.
Of course.
What is this
Ditto,
bus?
Ditto.
It's all right. It's okay. All right. Well, let's move on to one of the weirdest stories that we're going to talk about, and I want you to take everything that we're about to say with a grain of salt, because this is the weirdest leak I think so far, and the source is extremely questionable, to say the least. But it is starting to make its rounds. It's a designer, or at least a design team, and their text thread was leaked about what some of the aspects they were working on and parts that they were designing. And according to the leaked images, here's some of the stuff that was mentioned. So big old spoiler alert. I want to say that now, if any of this turns out to be true. And then also don't crucify us if it all turns out to be wrong. But according to this, members of the design team are working on concepts related to major battles at the Mansion X. One piece of artwork is titled Invincible Avenger. In Avengers Doomsday, this team is tasked with resolving the incursions between two worlds and rescuing Monica Rambeau, which we talked about before, about how that's what the plot of Doomsday might be centered around, is that X-Men universe that we saw Monica go to. Those heroes, alongside with characters from that universe, later protect Loki at the Citadel after finding the TVA and what Doctor Doom's actual plans are. And then the team members include Sam Wilson, Thor, Captain Marvel, Shang-Chi, Ant-Man, Jennifer Walters, Yelena, Bucky Barnes, Sentry, Hulk, Shuri, M'Baku, Namor, and the Fantastic Four, who are all on that mission because Doctor Doom kidnaps Franklin Richards. And then he takes him to what's called Universe X, which I bet you is then going to be renamed Battleworld. It's probably the Void.
Yeah. That's what it seems like.
And then meanwhile, John Walker, Ghost, Red Guardian, and others remain on Earth 616 alongside the Wakandans, the Talokans, I think is that how you say it?
Yeah, Talokan.
And the sorcerers from the what are those places? Wong's people. They all of the, I forget the place that Wanda screwed up. Remember that place that Wanda? Yeah, whatever. All of the sorcerers. They're gonna protect the Earth from some unknown invasion, which could be Doombots. It could be other universes. I mean, it could be interesting. A different incursion happening at the same time.
Or what if it's the Annihilation Wave?
No, because they're saving that apparently for the next wave, next phase. Excuse me. Yeah, no, apparently Annihilus and the Annihilation Wave that's the X-Men's Thanos. That's at least the rumor. That's who their big bad's going to be. Yep.
The X-Men?
I associate him with Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah, but that's apparently who that phase that's going to center around a lot about recreating the X-Men and such is also going to be dealing with the Annihilation Wave coming to Earth. So, I mean, they can merge that with the Brood. They can bring the Shi'ar Empire into it. There's a lot of X-Men aspects that they can pull in if they really wanted to, because X-Men, which I actually think is a problem with X-Men, gets a little too out there geographically. You know what I mean? Once we get into space stuff with the X-Men, you lose me. But
fair.
You could go that direction and kind of use him as a way to still tell those stories. But yeah, it's if the rumors turn out to be true, it's interesting, but I don't know. It seems like a lot.
I've seen leak sets with these Sentinels, so.
Well, I'm going to assume it's an Earth pops up. There's going to be an incursion starting, and then they find out that it's the Monica Rambeau world, right? Doctor Doom puts the two worlds against each other, and then they realize that his main plan was to dethrone Loki and create his own, pocket dimension, Universe X, where he's the grand ruler. And then they realize too late that that's the plan, and they have to come together and fight him. That's how they end up protecting him at the TVA. So he keeps them all fighting during the incursion in order to take the throne from Loki. Along those lines. Huh. I don't know. I feel like the story's starting to write itself. I don't know. I could be very wrong here.
To a certain extent, yeah. Because right now, in the MCU, Loki has become the god of stories, right?
Mm-hmm. He's literally holding the multiverse together.
I tried to dig into this. And I went down this rabbit hole of weirdom. I mean, it took me. So I guess the original post showed up on Reddit, which then led me to the actual Twitter post of this person. I mean, the text messages actually do read like AI.
Do they really?
I don't know if you read the actual text messages.
We have them.
Yeah, and the other thing is like so this source also claims that Miles Teller is going to be the maker in Doomsday.
I saw that. I didn't realize this was connected.
I would like that.
So it's the same dude.
But apparently that's Secret Wars. Like he's the other main villain of Secret Wars.
Yeah.
But just bring the maker, and I would love that.
Sure, but if you're going to have the, will we get the council?
No, it's too new. That's too new. But yeah, I again take everything I just said with a grain of salt. I actually take everything I say until we get into the comic section with a grain of salt, because the next little bit of news is all rumors anyway. Because Daniel RPK went on a tear recently. So anything else for these very bizarre? Hopefully, I mean, I'd be cool if they are true leaks. But if they're not, I'm also cool with that as well.
Somebody needs to get fired. That's all I have to say. If this is legit, like
Honestly, I'm starting to think that like the leaks are just guerrilla marketing at this point.
I think that's true to a degree.
I'm sure there's some.
No question. I think that's true to a degree.
Because
I think early leaks are 100% to keep us talking for a year to keep excitement going.
Because
Like when the Fantastic Four. Put it this way: one of our biggest posts of all time on Instagram is the leaked video of The Thing. That got millions of views. You're going to tell me that didn't get no one noticed? no one told us to take it down. You're going to tell me no one noticed? Just saying. So yeah, we didn't get hit for that one, and you would have assumed we would have. But I believe that leaks on purpose.
Yeah, and then Marvel they're not going to be in Hall H this year in SDCC, right?
They don't need to. What do they need to?
But that's what I'm saying. Like with all the leaks, what's the point?
Yeah, let DC just take this year. It's all right.
Yeah.
Sorry,
they're not doing much either there.
Well, because they only need Superman right now. That's the big ticket. Superman has.
That's
to
really
work.
all they got.
Yeah, but they're not doing anything.
Well, there's probably a lot of
Supergirl.
there probably would not surprise me if Warner Brothers is like, you know what, hold off on everything until Superman comes out.
That's absolutely why.
Mm-hmm.
So lots riding on this. All right, let's switch
All
gears
right,
to
Rick,
this. Daniel,
what's he up to?
Daniel RPK. Let's first off, Midnight Suns is reportedly back in development after being on hold. You know, Supernatural Saga. We talked about this. If it is, sure. If it isn't, I thought we were getting a whole saga. If it's just a movie, whatever. Just make the thing at this point. Like I've never felt so like for Blade of all characters.
I know.
Like, could you just
just give us, just make
it's
the
like
movie.
it's like the little engine that can't. It's just and the track is there. I mean, it's laid out for you. It's the easiest of all the movies to make.
Yeah.
They're
You tell me
vampires.
somebody can't write a great story like.
Well, they don't know what to do with them, and that's why I think that there's some truth behind that Supernatural Saga. So if there really
Why does
is
everything have to connect? Like seriously,
Because
what's wrong with a one-off Blade story?
because that's where the MCU has made all of its money.
You know what? You're right. And when you're right, you're right. And you're always right.
Well, definitely not always. This show has proved I am on record being wrong a lot. All right, let's keep moving. So the next thing, Hercules. There's a Hercules project reportedly in the works at Marvel Studios.
That makes sense.
What do you think? Like a special presentations? I can't see them going all out for a Hercules
Well,
project.
special presentation.
probably not all out, but just to have an introduction to Hercules outside of the because how many more Thor movies are we getting? Uh-oh.
At
Hear
least
me out.
one.
Mic drop moment. Let's go.
Hear me out. What if the new idea of special presentations and never having to watch anything that connects to the MCU, like they're not going to have any kind of major connections, right? You're not supposed to have to watch anything. What if they're to close plot threads that they don't want to continue anymore? So, for example, we have a Hercules project just so they can go ahead and close that plot thread because they had a whole post-credit tease about this character. Now they can make a quick something that isn't important, doesn't connect to anything. You don't have to watch it, but it definitely closes that plot thread.
Well, then they completely waste whatever his name is.
Well, they've already completely wasted him. That's no question.
Yeah.
That's just like Blade. Like it's done been wasted. But it does. That's an interesting way to for characters and stuff that people are clamoring for that you don't actually want to connect to your larger story. You can go ahead and just keep everything separate. Moshko will be happy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, it would make sense, and honestly, like Hercules doesn't play, at least currently, isn't like a big factor in the books. You could make it that way, but it's and you.
I mean, Hercules, he's been around, but let's not say he's been a big factor.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, but in the sense of having like the going forward, the Avengers having a powerhouse character that is not the Hulk, and you want to keep it tied to those that particular lore of gods, then Hercules will be the next person.
Yeah, it's only just because they mentioned him.
Yeah.
Had they have never mentioned Hercules, this would never happen. This is just because.
As I think more of this, I'm kind of behind you on this. Can we just fast forward to X-Men?
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's
They're
so
what
plugging
what was Captain America for? Cleanup.
Yeah.
Like they're just closing everything so that way when the universe finally collapses, it's a final finale. Like there's no loose plot threads. There's no Power Girls after Crisis. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's what they're trying to stop. So when they reboot the universe, they don't have to worry about anything.
Okay.
All right, no disappointment. So they're trying
Speaking
to clean
of
it up.
rebooting people.
What, Thor 5? Yeah.
No.
Thor 5 reportedly
Vision.
in the works at Marvel Studios. Taika Waititi is not involved, thank goodness. And then last but not least, White Vision is in search of his old memories and his humanity, which leads him to Madripoor, where he will find Ultron in his human form. And that's where the story will continue. So human form, so they don't have to spend money on CGI, right? Like that's 100% why they're doing that, right?
Did Ultron have a human form in the books?
I think so. I think at one point he did. I think so. I could be very wrong.
No,
This could be one of those times where you have me recorded being wrong.
I was like, I don't remember this at all, but I don't know.
It makes sense. Again, you got James Spader.
Yeah, I'll take
You want to just put James Spader out there, or you want to spend a lot of money to cover him up?
Put Robert California in there. I'll take it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yep, he's the fucking Lizard King.
So just doing a quick search, the only human form of Ultron really has been the Pimtron.
When he had that
merged with Hank.
half Hank.
Ultron.
Yeah.
Does he have like a cool hat and a cane?
Now that I think of him, I would prefer him that way. Yeah, I don't get it, but I want him to have that. Yes. Oh,
Pimtron. Jeez.
I'm slow.
When does this happen in the movie?
All right, let's move on over to what Huey was trying to do before I had to finish the Daniel RPK section and move on over to Venom, because this tease has been going on for like a week where they keep putting out ominous posts of he's back.
Yeah.
And everyone had their thoughts about who he could be, and I'll tell you what, if you read Giant Size Amazing Spider-Man #1 this week or last week, you got that spoiled right at the end. So everybody else knew because they just flat out mentioned him. So yeah, Null's coming back, and I'm gonna put a lot of money. That's because Venom hasn't been doing well since Null left.
Yeah.
They made some poor choices.
Well, they milked that cow to a point where they now just got to set him back to rights, get him back to normal Venom, and that's what I think we're getting here. So it's an Al Ewing story, and it from the image that we have, it's Null on top of what looks like Mary Jane's symbiote's Venom, which will probably lead into Eddie taken back.
And he's gonna kill her.
Probably not. Probably not. All I think that's going to happen here is
I still think 616 Mary Jane's gonna die.
What?
I don't think it's going to be Null that doesn't. I don't think it's going to be in a Venom story. She's too important to Spider-Man to have it happen outside of a Spider-Man story if that were to be the case. But with Null coming back, to me, what it signifies is a return to norm, because you now have Eddie, who's been transformed by this whole turning into the King in Black and becoming essentially a god, to then kind of losing that, to then almost dying, to then being connected to Carnage, which then turns him darker, which then Null comes back, which then reunites him with Venom, which makes him back to the Venom we've always known before King in Black was ever a thing.
Make him bad
normal anti-hero Venom. A little darker than normal Venom. So a little Carnage in there.
I want to see him be the bad guy again.
I don't know if we'll ever get to that Venom, but I do think we can get to a Venom where he starts executing people. I do think that's
another
a Venom
Lethal
we can
Protector.
Get Yes.
Yeah, I like that.
I do think they could return him to that, and I think that's probably the goal here, because what else can you do? I mean, they've had the Spider-Verse, Death of the Spider-Verse, Return of the Spider-Verse versus the Venomverse.
Venomverse, yeah, oh my God.
I mean, the amount of weird places we've seen the symbiotes go trying to keep up with the Venom story has been ridiculous, and they've overwritten him to a point where I just no longer care. Like, you would think him turning into Mary Jane would be like the craziest thing, and everyone was like, oh, come on.
Yeah, because we first off, it's not even just Mary Jane; it's jackpot Mary Jane, and we don't like that as is. So
Actually, you know what? If jackpot wasn't a thing, that might have been more interesting.
Exactly, but she's jackpot, and there's also Paul, which.
Well, Paul, we don't need to talk about Paul.
I'm sorry.
Paul's getting his comeuppance in Dead Vereen and Wolverpool. We know about that. We talked about that on Free Comic Book Day. Don't roll your eyes, Moshko.
Are you a Paul fan?
Yeah.
What?
He just wants us to stop talking.
Paul Blart?
No, remember when Paul and Mary Jane had kids in an alternate dimension?
He's being Moshko.
I might have fell asleep during that part too.
Well, that's how we feel about how they've been writing Venom so far. We've all been asleep on it for very good reason.
What was it? Venom War? That wasn't that great.
Yeah.
There was there was a good moment. You would think if it was a wrestling book, Moshko would be all about it, but there was a. It was all wrestling themed. I mean, there quite literally was people announcing each fight.
Yeah.
Like they were everyone else was scared and ran out, but the announcer stayed.
Wasn't there a cage match? Like they were inside a huge cage. Like, anyway,
it was dumb.
How difficult was it to write a good Venom story though? Like
it wasn't. It was called King in Black, and it was phenomenal.
And then we went nowhere.
Well, and then just too many things happened. They should have just moved on to a different character, but they needed to milk that for all it was worth, and they did it over the last how many months and how many different Venomverse stories that we got. So here we are. We've had like 4 Venoms since then.
Yeah,
we had Dylan Venom. Spider-Man was Venom again. Dylan was Venom. We had now Mary Jane's Venom. Like they're throwing stuff at the wall and hoping something sticks, and they're like, you know what? We just need to get him back to Venom. And that's what I think where we're getting this. So Venom 250 and the return of Null is really just let's return
the return of Eddie Brock Venom.
Return things back to right. It'll be the end of Carnage Venom, and I think that period of Carnage Venom will turn him back to the Venom that we've known before King in Black and before he was, Avengers level. He actually makes more sense on the new Avengers team. We'll talk about that in just a second when we get to the books. But just switch out Carnage with Venom. You keep that book going for a while. And I bet you they do that.
They probably will.
If that book continues, I bet you that happens. Okay. Well, any thoughts on Venom, folks? I'm so tired of Venom.
I just want Venom to be as interesting as I know that character can be, and for them to stop giving him some crappy stories.
Well, there was a lot of fun moments. There's a lot of fun things, but it's just in general, it's just kind of went out with a whimper, and then those movies did not help anything either.
Right, but that's the problem. We have those moments, but they're so mired by all the overall badness.
Well, Null will bring it back. That's what we got. We got it. Null's bringing it back. Didn't Null get messed up recently? Who messed up Null?
What do you mean?
What I thought
didn't Null get?
He
somebody?
Died,
I forget.
I thought he died.
Null died.
Yeah, he died at King of Black.
Yeah,
I could have swore there was.
What are you talking about?
I don't know. Maybe it was an acid
flashback.
Wait.
The Carnage book, when Carnage was hopping through the multiverse, he beat the crap out of a different Null.
Yes. And that was the Null that went and saw the Venom for the Spider-Man game.
What?
Remember that?
Yes.
There was a whole bunch of people turning into Venom, but one of the stories was the Spider-Man game's Venom, where it was Harry Osborn, and he was like, "I'm not one of your people. Don't ever come back here." He was giving him some shit. All right.
Wow.
Switching gears here. Let's start comic review time.
Hey.
Yeah.
Comics.
All right. Well, I'm going to go through some real fast ones before we put some ones that I want to spend some time in. Spider-Girl #1. I got it because of my nieces. I thought maybe they would like it, and it's better than Spider-Boy.
Is it?
It's a little bit better than Spider-Boy. I don't understand her character because I didn't read Spider-Boy, so I don't know how she works. Some telekinesis, mutant powers, and I don't know how it works. But she has barbed web shooters, so she shoots barbed
web.
Yeah, so when she
spider barbs.
When she wraps you up, it hurts. So it wasn't bad. It wasn't great. I enjoyed her character. Maka is her name. It was kind of cool, but nothing I would say like rush out and get. But whatever. Ultimate Black Panther I caught up on. I had to read 16 and 17. 16 wasn't that great, but 17 was outstanding.
Yeah.
17, where that story's going, man. And that was this week. Wasn't 17 this week?
Yeah, I felt like that was coming though. Like you seen it kind of.
Well, you want him to be with Storm, but so spoiler alert. But the whole Okoye and Killmonger, who didn't see that coming? Didn't see Okoye being like, "Hey, you want to be the new king?"
Start rubbing on his chest. You should take over.
Like, I wasn't ready for that. But
where's the loyalty?
I'm excited for that though.
I don't know. I feel like you left something out about
Spider-Gwen or Spider-Girl.
Yeah.
What about Spider-Girl?
Maybe I'm wrong. Never mind.
I didn't. It was okay. She was in a Taekwondo class.
She was once the protege of Bullseye.
That's a big part of the story, yeah. But I don't. But again, I didn't read the original book, so the sad part of Spider-Girl is it does require you to have the knowledge of Spider-Boy, and I did not read that.
Gotcha.
Book
all right, moving on.
So, and I don't know her origin. Bullseye's a big part of it, and she was hunting down a dude who looked like Bullseye, but then she fights the Weasel, and then like the
Up goes the Weasel.
or not Weasel, Vermin is Marvel's version. And Vermin is, and he was set loose by a team that's just trying to see what she does. It's not a great book. It's better than Spider-Boy, but it's not great. But again, it's not for me.
Moving on.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like stuff that we. Falling in Love on the Path of Hell is still my favorite of like the indie books. It's just a feel good, awesome story. It has samurai and cowboys and zombies. Like it's great. It's a beautiful book. Strongly urge people to read that. That's my new Deviant. Deviant was kind of creepier, but this is the book I'm most excited about. Like when I see like another one, I'm like, oh yeah, it's Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees. It's another one of those. Okay. Definitely worth it. Star Wars 2 is okay. It's all right. It was Star Warsy. Luke was doing great. Don't get me wrong. Luke was killing it. But I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to be reading too much of Star Wars. It's not bad. It's I'm trying to find it. Here it is.
It
is a lot of trade talks and all my favorite parts of Star Wars. It's a lot of dialogue.
So it's Star Wars.
It's
Politics.
You might love it. It's very Andor-y. But there are lightsabers. There are lightsabers. But apparently
it's won't like it then.
But there are two stories. There's a Leia story that's Andor-y, and then there's a Luke story that's for the rest of us. And the Luke story is about Jedi artifacts, and Leia is dealing with the fact that all of these nations that were supposed to align with the Republic, the New Republic, decided to turn their backs last minute and attack one of their ships during a diplomatic thing that was supposed to like tie them all together through trade. Something like that.
Traitorous fiends.
Something like that. So it's very Star Wars. It's good. It's fun. It's not the best. It's it's a thing that's happening.
It's fun. It's not the best.
What about Death of Silver Surfer? Did you guys read that?
I did read not. That.
I don't know.
I'm not quite sure about either, but I am gonna get the next. I want this. I've been a Silver Surfer fan for a very long time, and the one thing his books have always done was create this far out story, but you don't really feel the character through these stories. He always comes across just like so above everything and overly noble, so that when things are happening, you're like, oh, it's the Silver Surfer. He'll handle it. I don't see how there's it's like reading a Superman story.
And this book was kind of like that. I don't know. It doesn't turn it. I don't know how to say this because it's not bad. It's not bad by any means, but it doesn't feel right. So the whole story is it's a human who's hunting him down because she wants to kill an alien. She's literally hired to kill him by I think it's an organization.
What's the name of it?
Anyway, she's hired to kill him, and like she makes it she she makes it her life's mission to kill him, and she fakes her own death to then shoot him in the chest, and it's like very anticlimactic for a story about Silver Surfer. And then all of a sudden she passes out and wakes up in an emergency ward, and Silver Surfer is like standing over, like, "Are you okay?" Like, so it all backfires, and he's noble, making sure that she's safe and like kind of trying to protect her from herself.
Yeah.
It's the whole issue felt like it didn't need to exist. It
Yeah.
felt like it was just getting to we're gonna, they show a thing of Galactus at the end. They're like,
that was probably the biggest thing that make you scratch your head. Like, he's like,
it's a fun Silver Surfer story, and I like the way that they talk about the Surfer and how he's just trying to make up for who he was. And the art's beautiful. It just felt very anticlimactic, I guess.
Yeah, because like, where do you go from the end of this?
So he
story?
didn't die in the first issue?
I don't
No.
feel like no, he doesn't.
No.
He think he's about to, because he gets shot in the chest by some thing that would hurt him, because a comic-y bullet, a bullet of comic powers.
That's the funniest part of the
that
story.
will kill a cosmic being.
It's the funniest part of the story when she shoots him. He's just like, "I'm here for you." Then she shoots him. He's like, "Your weapon, it's not going to kill me, but slow me down just a little bit. But I'm going to save you, and then we'll be good. Everything's straight." I was like, "What? What do we do with that?"
Yeah, no, it's a thing that's happening. It's like One World Under Doom. It's not the most exciting. Actually, this One World Under Doom was pretty good.
Yeah,
These last two issues of One World Under Doom were actually
His
pretty
name
good.
is literally Doom.
Yeah, the fun. Well, since we're on it, I think the best part of the book comes close to the end when Thor is just questioning everybody. He's like, I mean, like, he did just do all these things. Like, we saved the world. There was no casualties.
Well,
Have
and
we
I also come from a
considered-
place where my dad ruled everything.
Oh, true, right?
You know what I mean? Like, I come from a place where this is already the way of life. So if the way of life under Doom is better for humanity, why are you guys fighting it? Because I come from an example of how it can work, and it's worked for a millennia. So it's definitely an interesting book. I also just love the fight between Dormammu and Doom.
That was great.
Yeah, the last two issues of Dormammu have been really, really good. The book in general, it's going to be forgettable. That's the sad part about this book. Is it's not bad by any means. It's a lot of fun, but it's going to be like what was that last Thor book, War of the Realms?
Yeah.
It's just it's a thing
Yeah,
that
it's
happened,
just-
unless you're a Thor fan, it's just gonna.
Well, I did like Green Lantern Doom.
Yes, that's super Green Lantern Doom.
Yeah.
What, rebuilding himself?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
probably the most interesting thing about One World Under Doom is the lengths that and strategies that Doom's using to stay in power. Like with them defeating Dormammu, and he's like, "Well, I put him in stasis. He's locked up as long as I'm in charge." The moment yeah.
That's how he got the powers of the Sorcerer Supreme.
That's the most Doom thing ever.
When he's
Yeah.
like, you said you were going to give him back when the crisis was over. He's like, yeah, the crisis isn't over. Yeah, that's super Doom.
man.
So yeah, One World, it's still good. It's I don't know. It's not King in Black.
Yeah, I think it is going on too long though. I think.
Oh, it's only issue 5.
Yeah, it's too
It's
long.
3 too long.
Too long. Last 2 have been good. It's the first couple that were like, meh.
I'm getting a little tired of it. I'm hoping the
'Cause
next issue is the last issue, but that comes out in 2 months. So
Well, did you guys read New Avengers?
I
So
got
New Avengers is still very much a part of the One World Under Doom. He's still the person in charge, and that's why they're forming a team, and that's why the team is very Thunderbolty.
I was thrown off by it because a couple months ago the solicitation was for Thunderbolts.
correct. They pulled a MCU on us.
It's
It's-
good marketing.
Well, in the whole book, they keep talking about how they don't want to have a team or a team name, and it's not until Namor shows up, and Namor's like, "I don't join teams that aren't Avengers."
I mean,
Namor
he's
goes,
right.
"I'm royalty. I'm on the Avengers, or I'm not on a team." Except for if it's X-Men Red, you dumb whatever. Stupid ass.
For-
fish man.
Smack you in the
Namor-
face with my wings on my feet.
Yeah, my little booty feet.
Another reason why he's stupid.
First off,
Yeah, he's insufferable the moment he shows up. You're just like, oh god.
that's just who he is. I'm sorry, but he's
Yeah,
also
he doesn't make any Reed better. I don't know why you like him so much.
because he's as strong as he is, and he is kind of a dick. So
Yeah, and that's what's great. Like when Black Panther stabs him in the back and then kicks him out of the helicopter onto not a helicopter, whatever that ship was, on a different universe that was dying. That's the best thing to do to Namor.
Yes.
That's Namor being utilized to his fullest potential. Actually, in the Ultimates book, when he was hung up on the wall.
Yeah.
Give me back that fillet of fish. Sorry, Namor.
All right, Ninja Turtles is pretty good. I really enjoyed Ninja
Yeah.
Turtles. That was a great issue.
So
This man, the crying thing, I love so much. The turtles each individually hearing the crying of Splinter.
Oh,
It's so good the way that they're telling the story, especially through Mikey, who's not hearing it the whole time. Like so, everybody
Until the
else
end,
is going through the moment where they hear the crying, except for Mikey. Yeah, until the very end where he's getting rolled on.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a really, really good book. This is arguably one of the best books coming out right now. I would say this for me is top 5, easy.
So you think this arc ends with Splinter coming back?
I don't know if he comes back in some which way, but maybe some kind of a spiritual a la the first Turtles movie where they were all like praying to him almost when they were all
he'll come
he showed
back
up in the
astral
fire.
plane.
Yeah, I can see that, like him being this guardian spirit that kind of nudges them in the right direction. But I don't think they'll go back on bringing him back from the dead because it just doesn't feel very Ninja Turtles.
I mean, they brought Shredder back from the dead.
That's true.
Yeah, but it's Shredder.
Yeah. I mean, I guess you could. I mean, to be fair,
Something tells me they're
Janika
gonna
is
bring him
somebody who
back.
was dying who was brought back and turned into a turtle. So,
Yeah.
I'm getting a little too high on my but you can't do that to my Ninja
That can't
Turtles
happen
horse.
in real life.
You can't do that to my turtles. Splinter's dead, man. Respect the dead. I didn't read the giant-sized Spider-Man, but I did read the opening because it was written by Kevin Smith. Did you guys see that?
No,
Giant-Sized
not.
Amazing Spider-Man is an anthology book with a bunch of little stories in it. I didn't get a chance to read the whole thing because I read it right actually before the show. But the first book is written by Kevin Smith and is supposed to look like 90s Spider-Man. It's supposed to look like Todd McFarlane drew him. And it's all
Nice.
about him fighting the Sinister Six, and he gets his pants ripped, and his ass is out the whole issue. And he's trying to find somebody to help him, so he goes to Doctor Strange, and Doctor Strange is like, I can't help you with this problem. So he goes to the Fantastic Four, and they're like, how do you guys like keep your suits from like burning up? So it's all about him, mooning New York. That's
funny.
because it's Kevin Smith, man. I don't know what to tell you. I didn't read the next one, but I do love this. I'll show you guys just because I think it's exciting. The story after that, which is definitely trying to look like 80s, 70s Marvel,
Wow.
right?
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you notice who's in the corner there with Spider-Man, though?
Yeah, that's what's his name? The dude
That's
from Gods. Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
that they're bringing Win into other stories now. So Win,
They should.
anybody who forgets from Gods, that is Constantine of the Marvel Universe.
Yeah.
So I love seeing Win showing up.
Yeah.
Oh, and then in features, you'll actually love this, where they tease Null is in a book for Kid Venom.
Really?
So it's all about Kid Venom showing up in the Spider-Verse. And right at the end, all of a sudden, he gets the I'm under control eyes, that
Wow.
swirly eye.
yeah.
And that's when they say that, what's it called? That Null's coming.
Wow. What?
So, yeah,
Interesting.
not bad. What'd you read, Moshko? You're quiet over there.
Whole lot of nothing.
Really? You didn't read anything this week?
No, I did read. For whatever reason, I've gone back to the volume 2 of The Punisher.
Cool.
So I'm a few issues into that. I forget how many it is, but it started back in '87. So
Oh, that's cool.
pretty cool.
Nice.
It's
Well-
funny because that's kind of where I started my journey with Punisher, and I'm reading these books. I'm like, my God, there's no way I actually understood what was going on in these books because they're
Back
very,
then, yeah.
surprisingly very adult oriented.
Yeah.
But that's kind of where I'm at. Nothing really piqued my interest.
Really? This week? This was
Nothing?
a
Yeah,
big
well,
week.
I
Dude.
started reading the Silver Surfer thing, and then
It wasn't.
I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes after like 5 minutes, depending on the time of day, like I'm out cold
Yeah.
and just didn't get back to anything.
Uh,
Transformers, I will read. So whenever you talk about that, I'm gonna.
well, we don't have to get too spoilery on Transformers. It was a great issue. It was a great issue. It has a moment that you might freak out for more than I did because I don't know, I don't have connections to some of the people we've seen. But you said one of them, Baby Huey, is a brand new character, right?
What, for Transformers? Sorry.
Yeah.
I was, yeah, he's a brand new character.
The Power Rangers looking guy seems like he's going to play a bigger role moving
There's
forward.
a Power Ranger in Transformers?
Oh, he kind of has the shape of the Megazord.
Looks like the Megazord.
Wow, and he has a sword.
Mm-hmm.
See, features. This is why you get cover A's, so because they show you.
You know what? Cover B's are awesome. That's one. And cover A's are not always better. I get the value of cover A's are better than cover B's.
Cover A's normally show you what's going on in the
Cover
story.
B.
Cover B's, you're just paying more money.
No one buys these cover B's.
But they do get D's and C's.
They end up in the dollar bin. Cover B's. All right. Well, last one, at least from my pile, is Absolute Batman. Which was, I loved. Apparently, Chuck Dixon didn't like this new Bane, but I thought Bane was pretty cool.
Listen, Chuck Dixon could not like him all he wants. This Bane was awesome.
This Bane was pretty good. I like when he was like, I didn't even use the juice yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was crazy. Oh my goodness. I like the fact that this Bane doesn't come off like a brawler or a wrestler at all. Like as he's fighting Absolute Batman, he's like, "Huh, this is a cool style." Block, smacks him down. Oh, Savant, cool. I didn't know you knew that. Block, smacks him back. He's just like manhandling him, which as he should. He's a freaking abomination, as it was stated before. He's just
Well, it's the kind of Bane we want. I mean,
yeah.
it's a nice mixture of like every Bane we've ever seen. I feel like. Bomb, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He even kind of looks like that crazy. That's the craziest looking Bane of them all.
Yeah.
He kind of looks like that Bane. Yeah, it's a great fight. It really is. I think the what's wild is how large that facility is under the ground.
Yeah.
When Bruce finally sees how big, like how Gotham doesn't cave in with that underneath him, I have no idea. But was it that the part of the underground of Arc M?
Yeah.
And that there's more of the arcs around the country.
Funded by JK, was it JK Industries or something like that?
Yep. Joker.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. I'm done. I'm out of books. What do you guys got? I know Moshko's out, so we're 2 down. What do you guys got?
I read.
That's all I got, too.
More.
Oh,
well,
so
2
it's on
more,
you,
but it's
features.
the same. Magic 5 and 6. Again, if you're into the occult and you like X-Men and mutants, this is a pretty awesome read. It's kind of filling you in more about her, a little bit of her character now as an adult and how she's dealing with her life as it was spent in the limbo and her trying to reconcile that as a member of the X-Men now. But this where we left off of with 5 was her actually defeating or exiling this demon named Liminal, who was trying to bring the Dark Child back out of Ileana. He failed, but he also succeeded. So she actually kind of.
Well, then the twin shows up. Limal. Limal takes him out. I'm sorry. I'm out. I'm tapped.
It's pretty cool.
My humor barometer is ended. It's over. I've got nothing left. The tank is empty. I'm with Moshko. We're falling asleep over here.
Well, issue 6, you see Madeline Pryor because the entranceway to. Wow, you guys.
Madeline Pryor.
Yeah,
I'm so excited for Madeline Pryor.
Well, she's the new queen of Limbo, and the entranceway to Limbo gets attacked. It's blown up, so she has to go back and help restore the order. And there are, okay, all right.
Features, take the hint.
You guys aren't interested. I'm just going to say it's a good read. It's very fun. If you're into the occult and you like X-Men, pick up Magic.
I'm glad you like it.
Wow.
You can find the show at That Comic Podcast everywhere online. That's at That Comic Podcast or your social media choice, unless it's Twitter, which is That Comic Pod. I mean X, because that's what it's actually called. But go to thatcomicpodcast.com because it's the best place to go. It's where you'll find toy reviews like that thing that just came flying at your screen. You'll also find our merch shop. There's stuff in there. I haven't updated it in a while, but maybe we'll get a new shirt in there one of these days. Thank you so much for all the engagement. Comment, like, share, subscribe, all that. Smash the like button, hit the bell, all the fun stuff that you're told to do every video you watch. And yeah, once again, I'm Mitzi.
I'm Moshko.
And I'm Features.
And that's that.
Hey, go read Magic.
No, you actually should. Read that.
That's that, huh?